It is once again time for draft season here at the Ballin In Burgundy podcast, especially with the state of our Commanders. Y'all know what time it is. It's main event JD. It's Jon Kiper Jr., and it's the official debut of BIB Draft HG. I'm going to have a guest on as we touch on the very first and the biggest talking point for our Commanders being the edge rusher position. But with that being said, guys, let's have a little bit of fun with it. Yes, indeed, as the draft season is upon us here at BIB. So with that being said, welcome to BIB Draft HQ with the one and only JD Jon Kiper Jr. for all of my draft folks out there. And like I said, we have the edge rusher position to talk about, but I'm going to bring on a guest to kick things off. Y'all have seen me on his show. We were both on Tone's show a few weeks ago. I got my man, full command, Grant Mitchell in the building. Grant, what's happening?
What's going on? Jon Kiper Jr. Is that how I'm supposed to address you now?
It's whatever people feel like addressing me as.
Okay. I guess I'll be Grant Yates. I can be Field Yates. We'll be partners. I got the hair. We got very similar hair, so.
Yeah, Grant Yates. That works.
There's actually a kid in my high school who's also named Grant Yates and Grant Yates. And I said Grant Yates for a reason because it's like a Freudian slip. I'm getting somewhere with this story. He was 2-3 years younger than me. So I go off to college, whatever. I'm at Virginia Tech. I'm at a tailgate. And I want to say he went to Christopher Newport. And then he transferred to Virginia Tech, ended up getting on like one of those, like a walk-on, like mostly just there to practice, stuff like that. And they listed him on our website as 6'8". And I remember I was like, I'm 6'1", and I swear this dude is not that much taller than me. So first tailgate, I walk up next to him. And I told my buddies, I was like, just keep an eye on this. Don't even say anything. So I just walk over and I stand next to him and I just kind of like act like I'm hanging out. And I was probably like 2 inches shorter than him. And I'm 6'1", and he was listed 6'8" on the website. So I was like, all right, nice job.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, good job lying to your official records for what you actually done. Good. Well, it's like when guys say they're 6'2", they're really 6'1", but they're really like the whole you go on down the list until they're 5'8". You're like, why did you say 5'9"?
Well, all right. So I'll be well, I'm really being transparent here. So the reason I say I'm 6'1" is because I'm like 6 foot or 6 foot and a half, really. But if I say I'm 6 foot, everyone's like, "Oh, you're 5'11". I'm like, "No, I'm not." So
right. It's the easiest trick in the book because when someone says you just take off a half inch and then you're right in the ballpark. So honestly, that's where most of these college athletes do. With all of their NFL scouting, it's like, oh, you're 5'8". Well, I'm really 5'7.25", but just to make myself look better.
Yeah, or like when basketball players go to the combine, it's like, well, what's their height in shoes? What are their in shoe measurements?
Exactly.
I can understand because like they're not playing barefoot, but still.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious. But speaking of college and prospects, like I said, we are here to touch on the biggest hole on this defense, and it's not wide receiver, it is edge rusher, defensive end, whatever you want to call it. But guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button here on BIB. Road to 1,000 subscribers. I'm currently at 777, all sevens across the board. So I'm hoping for 1,000 by Christmas, because if so, I might have a giveaway or two in the books. But obviously, we won't get there until we hit that 1,000 mark. So do that. All of our social media links down in the description up here. And y'all go follow Grant at Full Command on YouTube, and all of his links down in the description. Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, the whole nine. Let's start at the top of the boards, whether it's PFF, whether it's Draft Buzz, CBS, ESPN. The potential #1 overall pick to the Tennessee Titans, and a guy everyone and their mama wants here. And it's not the person that you texted me in our chat. I'm starting off with Miami's Rueben. That is Rueben. That is TJ Parker. Rueben Bain. How much are you in love with Rueben Bain?
Well, don't get me wrong. There's certainly there are three players that I think I might have my preference of who I would take, but I think there are three undisputed can't miss players that play defense, but specifically that are for the Commanders. And I'm not going to put Jordan Tyson in there. I know a lot of people want us to go receiver. Not one of those people. I think it's got to be someone on defense. I'm not going to spoil who the second guy might be because we're going to talk about him in a second, I'm sure. My other third guy, just for example, would be Caleb Downs. I get it. Safety's not a dire position of need, but like, dude, this guy is, well, okay. Compared to everything else we've got. I mean, everything is a need basically aside from quarterback and left tackle for us. But Caleb Downs is legitimately an all-pro in the making. He could genuinely be one of the 10 best safeties to have ever played the game of football, if you want me to put it bluntly. But back to Rueben Bain here, because he's one of those three guys who I think, okay, again, you might like Downs, you might like Bain, whatever. You can't be upset about Rueben Bain because when you watch him, it's like, you know how they say that you catch lightning in a bottle or someone's got like fire in their veins? Rueben Bain has like this nuclear energy inside of him where everything is explosive from legs. It's the twitch to if he gets stood up, well, he's strong enough. He can like bench press the lineman off of him. He can stand someone up in the running game. He can go speed to power. He can toss dudes out of the way. This is like what the prototypical edge rusher is supposed to look like in every draft. What makes this draft unique is there's another guy who's not even actually an edge rusher who might be the best edge rusher of them all. So that's where it gets a little tricky. But Rueben Bain is about as solid as a prospect can get in my eyes.
Yeah, Rueben Bain is, for whatever reason, slowly creeping down a mock draft boards, considering Jets, Saints, Browns all need quarterbacks. So we're sitting at 7. There's 3 quarterbacks. We'll get to the linebacker who could actually truly play edge, and then Caleb Downs. So we're already at 5. There'd be someone else in between. So there's a very likely chance we get Rueben Bain, but 6'3", about 270. Draft Buzz has him at 275. Junior out of Miami, one of, if not the best prospect, and I'll get to Downs on a later episode. But I mean, you want to talk about size at 6'3". You want to talk about weight at 275. He's a projected 4.7 40. So someone that size is really good and fast. The only concern with me is a little bit durability. He had a calf injury back in his sophomore year that kind of, disillusioned some things. And not the greatest lengthwise at his arms. He'll probably have sub 33-inch arms, but we've seen worse in this league. Stats-wise, in 10 games, 5 sacks, 46 hurries, just all like nothing but defensive pass rush in the end. 86 run grade, 92 pass rush, 26% pass rush rate. And he's done great against Notre Dame, my Florida Gators, USF, Stanford, FSU. Not so great recently against Syracuse and NC State, but Miami hasn't looked great overall these past couple of weeks. But if it's not for Rueben Bain, I think, and we're going to continue on the defensive end. This guy I sneakily slid in a couple seconds ago. You have been on this. Josh Taylor has been on this. I've done my research. Number 8 out of the Ohio State, Arvell Reese.
Yeah, he looks scary just looking at him. This is a guy that if the Commanders had the first pick in the draft, I would say you take Arvell Reese. I've heard a lot of conversations, which I totally understand. Let me start by saying this, where people say, we got to trade back. I get that. I totally do. The thing is, if you trade back, you're trading off of what could be a defensive player of the year candidate. And if you're asking me, would I rather have sort of the variance of I can get 2 Josh Connerlys and a Mike Sainer still, or I can get Micah Parsons? I'm going to choose Micah Parsons. And I use that name because that is what Arvell Reese is. We know Micah is this guy who's going to get 15 sacks a year. He was a linebacker in college at Penn State. That is what Arvell Reese is. And when you watch him, he can actually legitimately cover sometimes. You see the Giants do this with Abdul Carter because their D-line is so stacked. Like they have to drop Carter in the coverage because there's just not a place to put him. But you could do that with Reese, or you could legitimately transition him full-time to playing defensive end. And I think I think even being a little undersized, I mean, he's still like 245, whatever, he would put on a little bit of weight. Even undersized, I think he's getting 10 sacks as a rookie. And I think this is a 15 sack per year sort of dude. Relentless motor, hard hitter, terrific closing speed. Like, he is everything that you want. He can be an all-pro linebacker. He can be an all-pro edge rusher. He can play on ball, off ball. Literally wherever you put him, he's going to get to the NFL and he's going to dominate. So this is my guy. I would take him first.
He looks fantastic at 6'4", so he's already taller than Rueben Bain. 243, like you said, if he gets probably to 250, put on some weight in the muscle department, he'll be fantastic. Supposed to run a sub 4.6 at that size is outrageous. Just an absolute unit of a man. Their comparison right now is Jihad Campbell and Demetrius Knight. I think you could very well, like you said, put him at a Micah-esque, like 6.5 sacks on the year as a linebacker. And Ohio State's defense is not as good as last year's. I think it's still a good defense, but I mean, it's the Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate show over there. Having Arvell Reese at Ohio State is just unfair. If we got him at 7, although I do think he's a top 3 pick, but we'll see how trades work out. If we got him at 7, I think Dan Quinn has what Jordan McGee was supposed to be, mixed in with Bobby's tackling skills and Oose's energy.
Well, also playing a position of weakness, right? Like, the one thing we haven't really been able to do is generate pressure unless we're blitzing, and that's fine. But if the blitz doesn't get home, well, you've committed 5-6 guys, so you're weak on the back end. Like, Reese could help you get home with 4. I did a full 2026 Commanders roster preview. Like, I went into free agency, I restructured contracts, I released dudes, franchise tag people, signed them all. And I went through this exercise just to see what it could look like. And the front 7 that I came up with for the Commanders next year, and I do not expect this to happen at all, but the front 7 I came up with was, our starters were Dorrance Armstrong, Javon Kinlaw, John Franklin Myers, and I brought back Dietrich Wise and Jacob Martin. You can pick whoever you want to start there. And then our linebacking trio was Frankie Louvu, Quay Walker, and Arvell Reese.
Ooh.
And if we like, that would be the most fun linebacking group in the entire NFL. And again, that's what makes Reese such an attractive prospect, not just because he's amazing, but you want to play him at linebacker, he'll produce like an all-pro there. You want to play him at edge, he'll produce like an all-pro there. Maybe not quite all-pro out the gates, but like, you will see
Pro Bowl at least.
Yeah, you'll see it week 1. Yeah,
it's I was sketchy on him the first couple of weeks, and the more I done some research, I'm like, yep, I can get behind this. Because I'm always in the boat of trade back because we need all the picks we can get. If he's at 7, it's going to be tempting.
Yeah, for me, it's 3 guys, and we've said his name now. So Bain, Reese, Downs, you pick one of them. If they're not there, I'm open to trading back.
Yep. I'm in that same boat. Well, if we trade back, this is a guy who I think is probably going to be more inside of the interior for his size, weight, and production. Coming out of Auburn, number 15, and Keldric Faulk. Him being 6'6", 285 with 2 sacks on the year. I think he's more of a run defensive edge rusher, but I do not see him playing edge in the league. He is probably moving into the interior.
Yeah, so I like Faulk because I like that Auburn defense. They're nasty. He looks strong. He looks like a very strong, just physically imposing player when you watch him. Like you said, though, that he probably is going to be moving more inside. And if that's his strength, if his strength is his strength, when you move inside and you face 330-pound dudes, that's probably going to be noticed less. I wrote down notes on some of the guys we're going to talk about today. Not that I know who your picks are, just some of my guys. And I had said in my notes, I think he can be a solid run defender, but I also think he might be a little overvalued because of the defense around him. Also only has 2 sacks this year after having 9 last year. And I get it, like, oh, everybody's got to get fed, so he might not get all of the glory. But for some of the reasons you're saying, like, he's sort of a tweener, like he could be going inside, and if he does that, okay, he's gonna be solid against the run. But is he actually, because he's gonna be at a size deficit now, whereas size is an advantage for him? So I think he's a good player, but he's not really someone I would be looking for us to draft.
No, I could see very well him going to Dallas, to Houston, to Cincinnati, like that kind of that 12 to 15 range that someone needs an edge rusher, but they have the ability to kind of produce and move pieces around like Dallas. That's where I could see him going. I just don't think he comes here and makes the impact at edge rather than him moving to the inside and making a splash.
Yeah,
I'll give him a splash. Yeah. Well, someone I ironically passed over because I've done next to no scouting on Clemson because I'm not watching ACC football, but a man who is a little bit smaller than Faulk, but is pretty much in the same boat, I could say, at least this season, that being Clemson's T.J. Parker.
Yeah, he comes in he's listed at 6'3", 260. So not still good size for an edge rusher. Obviously not as big as Faulk, but we're talking about Faulk might be moving inside. With him, I think he's a good all-around player. I think he's one of these guys who's clearly good at pretty much everything he does. My question with him is he going to dominate? Is he going to be great? For us to be picking at 5, 6, 7, 8, wherever it is in there, insert 6'7" meme right here. For us to be picking in that range, it's totally off the board for me there. If we do end up trading back and now we're picking at like 15 and he's on the board, maybe I can get more on board with it there. But at the same time, I think maybe you would be just trading back again because it's still the same paradigm that you have to answer. Like, okay, we're picking at 15 now. We're not picking at 8, but I still don't know if he's actually going to be great in the NFL. I think he could come in, have solid skills, solid size, solid athleticism, and then not build on top of that.
Yeah. Draft Buzz has his kind of comparison to the now passed away Marshawn Nealon, God rest his soul, Michael Williams, Cameron Thomas. Like, he's got, when you want to build an athletic edge rusher, TJ is that build, but only having 2 sacks on the year, coming off a 12-sack season last year, coming off 6 in 2023, we expected him to jump up even higher. Right now, it's not good.
Well, you know what's funny about that? So I didn't know that, and the fact they listed one of his comparisons as Michael Williams is so funny to me because to anybody who could hear me last year, I was screaming, Jalen Walker's the best player on the Georgia defense. I do not think Michael Williams is that good of a football player. And everyone's like, Michael Williams is a top 10 draft pick. So it's funny because I love Arvell Reese, who's kind of like a souped up Jalen Walker. And then I'm down on Parker, who's supposed to be Michael Williams.
Yeah, it's funny. I was in the boat of Jalen if we truly needed him, or who was our defensive tackle?
At Georgia?
I'm trying to think. Oh, no, I'm thinking Indiana. I'm thinking CJ West. I was a CJ West fan.
Oh, I was a CJ West guy too, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Although he's been great in San Fran with all their injuries, so I'm happy for him.
Yeah, imagine your defense playing well with injuries. Crazy.
We could not imagine. Well, I think this next guy I've got, who every single mock draft that I do, and we move back when, like I said, into that 14 area, I'm grabbing this guy, but he is also a very big Cowboys send him to Dallas kind of thing, because he could very well be a Micah-esque in terms of production, whether you put him at a defensive end or a linebacker. That would be Texas Tech's David Bailey. I love this kid.
Yeah, I like him a lot too. He's my top alternative for the guys if we trade down back in that middle pack. So we see that the same. I've gotten really no questions with him with his ability to get after the quarterback. You said he does have the flexibility to play linebacker and he's got good instincts there. My only question with him would be, if we do decide you're playing on the edge full time, how would he do stopping the run out there? Because he's not the biggest dude in the world. Gives me a little Dante Fowler sort of vibes where like they're 240-ish. But I mean, we're seeing with Frankie Louvu right now. I don't know how big Frankie Louvu is. He's probably even lighter, like 230 maybe, 230, 240. But whenever Luvu's on the edge and it's an obvious rushing down and they do run at him, there's just no chance. There's not a snowball chance in hell of Luvu stopping that. And this isn't even me taking shots at Luvu because he's playing somewhere he's not supposed to be playing. But I just feel like if we do make that move and say, hey, you're full-time on the edge, That would be my biggest concern. And that would be, one thing we talked about all year. Hey, we need speed in the linebackers to make up for this. So Bobby Wagner, thank you. Get the gold jacket on, but let's get Jordan McGee out there, someone who can run down and through these open holes.
Yeah, we've said this for the past 7 weeks. Bobby is your run stuffing linebacker, and that's what he's great at. McGee is going to be your pass coverage linebacker, even though you drafted Madrano and picked up Kehoe, who their two biggest advantages were pass coverage.
Yeah.
So make that make sense. But back to David Bailey, linebacker / edge, 6'3", 250. So on the lighter side of things, I'm 6'1", 265, and I've nowhere near as athletic as this kid is. Nowhere will I ever be. But I supposed to run a 4.5 40. I will gladly take that at my edge or linebacker position. His comparisons are Dallas Turner, Chris Braswell. Well, Dallas Turner is a hell of a player from Minnesota.
Yeah. I
would gladly take that. David Bailey on the year in 11 games has 13 sacks, 18 QB hits, 40 QB hurries, a 23% pass rush grade or pass win rate, just nothing but dominance. He had 7 last year. He had 5 in 2023. So he progressively gets better with time, and he's always playing outside the tackle, which is where you play defensive end. I need this kid. I need it. I don't even need the big overall diversity of an edge rusher. I just need him to go kill someone. Just run through it. Just run through a tackle. Give me him. He can learn from Armstrong. He can learn from Wise. Call it a day. Learn from Kerrigan.
And I'm more confident in him making that play where you just rip by somebody than TJ Parker.
Yeah. David Bailey, to me, I think is a more complete package in terms of size and lack of diversity than what Chase Young was.
Okay. I'm down with that.
Yeah. If I can get the 60% of what Chase Young was supposed to be in David Bailey, we've already got a much better draft pick.
If Chase Young was 60% of what Chase Young was supposed to be, he would have been a good player.
Exactly. But I have freelancing like me at graphic design. You're not supposed to do this, kid. It's not what we signed up for.
That whole defensive line, Sweat, Allen, Chase, nobody wanted to do what the play said to do.
No. Play calling didn't help, but come on, dog.
They would just, where am I supposed to line up? All right. And then that was it. They're just going to do what they wanted to do.
The dumbest things ever. God. And the thing though, they were all first round picks and we had so much invested in them to be gone by in year 3.
Yeah. I mean, you're not lying. The Bama boys in the middle, the second overall pick on one side, the athletic freak he was Montez Sweat was the OG defensive guy to run 4.4, 4.3, whatever he ran. He had a 40-inch vert or something like that.
Athletic freak.
Yeah.
But we saw that. I mean, you can blame Jack Durrell for some of that, but when all of your defensive line is just, what I got to do? It's a bad idea.
I think Sweat at a point was actually the best of them all, too. I don't know if you agree with me. Yeah. Okay.
There were times where you were it's Sweat and company, and other times you're it's Allen and company.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chase Young was always on the back end of that company.
He was always the worst of the 4. Yep.
Yep. At second overall pick. God. Is he a Ryan Leaf? Is he just bad from the start, maybe?
Wait, hold on. I've just realized. Did Chase Young the Joe Burrow? No. Was he Joe Burrow here?
Yeah. Because Burrow went 1.
And he's the one who tore Burrow's ACL that first year, right?
I think so.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that.
Yeah. Full circle, I guess.
Poor Burrow.
I mean, we can say poor Burrow. He's been to a Super Bowl.
He has, and he also has 3 season-ending injuries, 6 seasons. So
yes, he does.
It's like the Jamar Chase, Penei Sewell meme. You remember that meme?
God.
Yeah, that's come back full circle now.
It has. It truly has, because no tackle outside of Joe Alt has been as good as Penei Sewell.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Burrow, Chase, and Joe Alt if they had a chance to grab Alt? That would have been scary.
What did they pick in the Alt draft?
What was that? 20? Was that last year's? Was that?
Yeah, it was 24.
That was Jaden's draft class. They picked up. I want to say they drafted a defensive player.
I'm looking at it. They drafted Amarius Mims.
So tackle.
Yeah, tackle. But not Penei Sewell.
Well, that's unfortunate. Great build, Arvell Mims, but
nobody loves a 6'10" dude who's not that good at football more than Kirby Smart.
No, because he'll make him work.
Yeah, I think he prefers a 3-star 6'10" person he's like, I don't need the 5-star. Just be huge, and I'll tell you where to go.
Exactly. Well, I can't even say speaking of huge because pause. A kid who was actually risen up draft boards in Commanders country, coming out of Texas A&M, so we're sticking in the SEC. It's Cashius Howell. He is someone whose just energy has driven people to go, can I have him, please?
I'm interested to hear your thoughts on him first, because I want to hear what you have to say first.
So I'm conflicted because the LSU game, he showed really, really good stuff. He has like 12 sacks on the year, looks good. I don't know if we necessarily need him. So I'm up in the air.
So I feel similarly. The first thing in my notes is actually I'll pass, which is a rude way of saying I'm conflicted. Terrific instincts. He is, like I was talking about with Bain, you say lightning in a bottle. That's Cashius Howell. He's going to make a beeline for wherever he's trying to go. I mean, in this picture that you just put up on the screen, like that bend, my ankle would break if I tried to do something like that.
Yeah.
I worry about his power a little bit. His speed is so phenomenal that if he tries to go speed to power, or if you go against a quick tackle, I don't know that that's going to work. I think he needs to be an off-ball linebacker. I'm just not sure that he's refined enough and big enough to be playing that end spot. I do have to give him credit because his final year at Bowling Green, he does 3 years at Bowling Green, 9.5 sacks that last year. First year at A&M, only 4 sacks. And then this season, he's already got 11.5. So you have seen him adapt to the competition, and that should be good for his draft projection. But again, he almost feels more like a linebacker to me than an end.
Yeah, ironically enough, that's pretty much what PFF says. At his current form, he's a better outside 3-4 outside linebacker than he would be a true hand-in-the-dirt edge. But season's not technically over. I don't know who else they play because he was bad against Missouri, not great against South Carolina. So we will see.
They've got Samford this week, and then they're at Texas to close the year.
I could see 2.5 sacks.
Against
I'll give him 2.5. I was going to give him 2.5 in those 2 games, but if he has 2.5 against Stanford, he rose his stock even more.
No, Samford.
Or Samford. Oh, well.
So he might get 4 in that one.
he might get 4 in that one.
Yeah.
I could see him probably going to like a Detroit. Like he's very much has Dan Campbell energy.
Yeah.
And just
I see that.
hit him and Hutchinson. Ooh. That'd be kind of fun to watch. Not against us, but on a different Sunday.
Against everyone else, yeah.
Yeah, against everyone else, absolutely. The last guy before we kind of touch into our kind of day 2, day 3 later guys is ironically one of the teammates with David Bailey, someone who's similar size, similar build, not the production. Romello height. I don't have a great picture of him, so I'm just going to bring this back in the middle. But like 6 sacks in 11 games when David Bailey's got 14, that's actually a good compliment.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And I'm glad you said that. I was bracing for you to say, oh, he's not living up. But like, no, it's, like there's only so many sacks to go around. 20 sacks between 2 dudes is impressive enough. And the season's not even over. One thing I really like about the Texas Tech defense is the intangibles are there. It's the dudes work hard. And that translates. You were just talking about Dan Campbell and how he would love that guy. Well, when I listen to Dan Quinn talk and Joe Whit, even though he's on borrowed time right now, but the pillars of what they want to build their team on are run and hit, forced turnovers, like hard physical competition. they're trying to sort of replicate that Dan Campbell mold. And this Texas Tech, whether it is David Bailey, whether it is Romello Height, they embody a lot of that. I think he is a very good player as well. David Bailey's my number one if we're to trade back. Like I said, if we trade back off the trade back, I would not mind at all taking a chance on Height here. Going back to, again, TJ Parker, not to pick on the kid because he's a good football player, but like I do have questions about taking him that high. Someone like this, you get him at the end of the first round, early second round, wherever it is. I don't have questions. I feel like that's the appropriate place for them to be, and I feel like they can go to the NFL and be a good contributor.
I agree. I'm with you on that one. I think he might need like a little more refining, so that's why I said, in terms of Howell's like go to Detroit. I think if Howell went to like a Cleveland, a Pittsburgh, a Los Angeles, like they all have vets to where TJ Watt, Khalil Mack, I'll go learn behind some future Gold Jackets. And both their coordinators and head coaches are defensive killers.
Yeah, I mean ours is supposed to be. We'll see.
I mean, if this is a killer, then I'm going to prison.
He's getting off. He's getting off if this is a killer.
Doesn't even need bail money. He pled not guilty. So
That's
someone
funny.
set him up.
I just really hope I know people are going to talk about, we only have 6 picks instead of 7. Like, yeah, like that's such a big difference, but we've got about $80 million in cap space. We've got draft picks. They just got to go get some defensive talent. I would love it if we could get Jaden Daniels, the best supporting cast in the world, so that we can really push MVP propaganda and talk about why he's better than Drake May again. But if we're being honest with ourselves, we don't need Jordan Tyson. And Jordan Tyson's a good player. It's got nothing to do with him. Yeah, the offense would benefit from having him, but every single week we walk out of games saying, if only the defense could support Jaden. So these fans, it's like typical Washington fans, and I'm guilty in this too. We've all got PTSD. We all share this together.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, it sucks. It sucks. Oh, look at the shiny car right there. Oh, that would make my life so much better. Like, yeah, I would love to see Jaden throw an 80-yard bomb to Jordan Tyson. But if you give me David Bailey getting a sack on third down in the fourth quarter once a week, that's a lot more important to me right now.
I agree. My whole thing, I'm trying to upload something and it doesn't. There we go. Sometimes I hate StreamYard and I'm slowly using this. But all right, so we kind of got the day one sub, early day 2 guys. I'm kind of passing over guys like LT Overton, R. Mason Thomas, Quincy Rose, because I think they'll be kind of sprinkled in that mid-second because we don't have a second-round pick. Are there any later day guys, so third-rounders, day 3 guys, even undrafted guys, where you're like, if I pass up someone in the first, I've got plenty of picks day 2, day 3?
I got 3 guys. Really, one of them might be a 7th-round prospect. I have no idea where he's going to land. And then I've got a young guy who might not even declare for the draft. He might come back, but I'll go over them. So Zion Young out of Mizzou. So I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound insane, and I get that. Rushing the passer starting to get a little overrated. Now, it's a great quality to have. Don't get me wrong. We are paying an edge rusher $47 million. That's more than a lot of starting quarterbacks are getting right now. And if you look at the trends, the way the league is playing out, it's awesome. It's awesome to have Aiden Hutchinson or Micah Parsons or Myles Garrett or TJ Watt. And I'm actually gonna exclude Myles Garrett from this because he's a phenomenal all-around player. Just talking about like true pass rush specialists. It's great to have those guys. But if the opposing team's in 3rd and 4, your pass rusher doesn't mean a whole lot. It really doesn't. So with Zion Young, he's not the best pass rusher of all of these prospects. He's not even close to it. But he might be the best run defender. Certainly, he's up there in that bracket. And the fact that he probably has he's got a V12 in there. Like his motor is running hotter than probably anyone else in this draft class. So at the very least, he's going to get some sacks off of just pure desire. But with him being such a terrific run defender, He'll chase. If your quarterback scrambles out to the opposite side, he's going to chase them down and run them down from behind. If you're running to the opposite side of the field, he will beat his man, run down. As soon as the running back hesitates to find the hole, he's going to get him on the ground. So Zion Young might get 5 sacks instead of 14. But if the opposing team's in 3rd and 8 instead of 3rd and 4 every time they go to convert it, that's arguably more important. So this is a guy where if we do not go edge, or even if we do go edge in the first round, doubling back in the 3rd to get this guy, I really would not mind at all.
No, this is a guy I've kind of, I don't want to say passed up on, because I've kind of gone to someone like 2 spots down out of Michigan who I like a little bit more. But if we got him, there is room for him to grow. I think he could be better than Baptiste. I think he's got better tangibles, especially youth-wise, and like Dietrich Wise. He's got the size of 6'5", 262. He doesn't – Zion would be a luxury to the fact we wouldn't have to start him right away. You have Wise. You have JJB on his rookie contract. You still got Armstrong. Like, he has enough time to build things and go versus our first-round guy we need right here, right now.
The selling point with Wise, if we bring him back, is he's got the size. He's going to be able to anchor down, run defender, stuff like that. But he is limited in the passing game. And obviously he's on the wrong side of 30. Like, Young can do all of that stuff, but he's faster. Probably about as good of a pass rusher right now, if not a little bit better, with theoretically a much larger ceiling to go to. And he's only going to be 22 years old, however old he is.
Is he only 22?
I don't even know how old he is.
Let's see. He is
21.
Younger than me. God damn it.
I'm almost 28. Trust me. You know when I felt old is when I was playing for FIFA career mode or manager mode one time, and I was signing my players and I was filtering them by ages, and I was like, damn, I wouldn't sign myself if I was the manager. I'm too old. So that's when it hit me and I actually felt old.
No, I felt old the first year that Jeremiah Smith was in college football and he just blows up on the scene. I went, all right, I'm on already.
Did you know that Ryan Williams is 17, by the way? Did they say that enough during the broadcasts?
Yeah. Oh, did you know I think Syracuse has a 16-year-old wide receiver?
Do they actually? I did not know
they
that.
They actually do.
That's crazy.
I went, I'm done. I'm leaving college football right now. I would walk out, be like,
how's that? So he skipped a grade and then early enrolled?
I think he just got his GED. I think he skipped, I think he just did his GED. I got to look into the whole background, but 16 at Syracuse.
Yeah, I'm going to look that up. That's crazy.
I mean, good for the kid though. Like, you've got plenty of years to grow your life.
All right, who else you got? What in that 3rd round range? Who you got?
So the next pick, I kind of teased him a few rankings below him, coming out of Michigan, Derrick Moore. I like him a little bit more than Zion Young, just based off production and size. 6'3", 260, really good athletic stand-up edge. He's got 9 sacks in 10 games on a very kind of wishy-washy Michigan team. 3 last year, 5 the year before. Can also get into the run outside the tackles kind of thing. This is if I need a later round, can sit, but doesn't need a whole lot of development, I think Derrick Moore is right up there.
I like Derrick Moore too. Definitely a guy that I would not mind if we took in that 3rd round area. I'll give you someone else. We're going to take it to who might be national champs, which is actually insane to say. But we're going to take it to Indiana, and we're going to talk about Kimara, who's a guy that I'm looking at here. So only 6'1", 265 from Ashburn, Virginia. So Commanders would love him there. Obviously, it's where they practice. It would be a real homecoming for him. Not one of these Maryland kids. No, he'd actually be going home. 10 sacks when he transferred to the Big Ten. So first year coming out of JMU, one of Kurt Signetti's guys. Numbers are down this year, but when you watch him, you do see the tools. Small frame, obviously going to cause him to drop. This is probably more of like a 5th-ish, 6th-ish sort of pick. But he's a guy that you can move around on the line. And like we've talked about with a lot of these prospects, a lot of these guys just are relentless. And I don't know if that's credit to the coaches or to the players or whatever. Like, I know baby boomers and Gen X are like, oh, these young kids don't know how to work these days. Like, when you watch this edge rusher class specifically, these dudes are full of fire, and Kimara is one of those guys. So that's like a 5th or 6th round guy that I think I would be pretty happy with.
Yeah, Kimara was someone. Was it there was another kid named Kimara last year who I really wanted, and I look at this Kimara, I'm like, I need more. I think it was the same guy. Okay, so I wanted him last year if he came out, because 10 sacks last year in 13 games, a little undersized. He's essentially my build, but athletic, 6'1", 260. But has all the intangibles that you want. I agree that he probably falls a little bit. PFF has him right now in that kind of 3rd fringe 4th rounder. He probably falls with some of these other guys that we might mention. But if he's someone we grab on like one of our 6th round picks, I'm not blinking an eye. I'm going, I like this a lot.
Yep.
I like that a lot. Someone who I think is probably going to fall into the 4th, just based on his production as the running mate to potential 1st overall pick Rueben Bain, is Miami's Akheem Mesidor. Whatever, however you say this name. I'm sorry, guys. You see what a complexion I am. I don't do names. But 6'3", 280, 7 sacks in 9 games, being the running mate to Rueben Bain, I would grab him almost in an instant.
Yeah, it's always tough when you try to parse this because, okay, we do have to give credit for good numbers. We do have to consider he's not top of the scouting report. Like, we got to worry about Rueben Bain. So single blocking occurs over here. But when you do watch this Miami defense, I know that they've lost some games that are just kind of like, really? For a while, they looked like juggernauts. They looked like, oh, they're playing Ohio State for the championship. But you can put that more on the shoulders of Carson Beck. It's really not been the defense for the most part. And Bain is a phenomenal player. But when you watch the Miami defense, there is just an overall feeling of physicality, and he greatly contributes to that.
Yeah, like, he's going to get lost in the shuffle, I'm afraid, because of the Rueben Bains of the world, because of everyone we've already mentioned. But if we grabbed him at, if he falls just a little bit into that 5th round and I see us go up and get him, I'm going, yeah, I'm all here for it.
I'll give you one last guy here, and then I have 2 guys left. One of them is the guy I mentioned who might go back to college or not. But my final guy who's bona fide prospect here, I was looking around to see where he was projected to fall, because I was just genuinely curious. And he's not even in Pro Football Focus's like mock draft database. I looked at Draft Buzz or something like that. They didn't have a profile on him. And then I watched Mel Kiper say that he was, I want to say, like, it was one of his top 10 edge rusher prospects in the class. And so it's Will Whitson, who plays at Mississippi State. Now, he's only got 2 sacks this year. And I'll be honest, I haven't seen a bunch from him, because watching Mississippi State is a form of cruel and unusual punishment. But he has a 20% pass rush win rate and a 17% run stop win rate, which both of those are elite numbers. He's 6'5", 295. So talking about a guy who you could potentially move inside if you wanted to. Or we know the Commanders, one of the biggest things they said all summer was we've added size. Dietrich Wise is like 285, 290, however big he is.
Yeah.
And we know they like to use elephant ends. We've seen Johnny Newton out there. We've seen Javon Kinlaw out there. So maybe he could be their elephant end. Again, I got no clue where this dude's going to fall, because he's not even ranked on a lot of boards right now. But he is someone who, and I've seen probably like 2 Mississippi State games this year, and I remember thinking he played well. So,
yeah, it took me a second to find who you're talking about, because I type in his name, and like you said, they're not in either database. So I'll pull him up on a photo here in a second. I got nothing on this kid.
Again, I don't even know. It might have actually been, I don't know what, I'm trying to remember. I saw him play Arizona State. That might be the only game that I've seen from him. But I remember watching him play, and I was like, because I expect Mississippi State to be awful. And they were competitive in that game against Arizona State. I forget what the score was. I think it was a 1-score game. And I do remember seeing him, and just the size, the numbers, like, they are intriguing.
Okay. I might have to do some digging around on him because I'm first of all not watching Mississippi State football at all. Oh, here he is, PFF. I found him. He's on the second page.
Okay. I'm not watching Mississippi State either. I was
Mind.
watching Arizona State at the time because I had, trying to remember exactly. Oh, me and my buddies, we were talking about the Big 12 before the year had started, and we all were talking about how like every single team could have the same record, and we all made our picks. And I had picked Arizona State. Someone picked Kansas State. Obviously, someone picked Texas Tech, and they're in the best position right now. But I remember watching this game because I wanted to scout how my team was going to do. I remember seeing him there.
Touche. So Whitson is currently listed at 6'5", 295, 2 sacks on the year, 2 sacks last year. He's also only played in 2 games. That being Arizona State and I want to say that's Southern Miss. But yeah, when I'm on the second page of PFF, that's a problem.
Yeah, I don't know. It's maybe the small sample size, only played in 2 games. I'm sure that fudges the numbers some. And I didn't realize he'd only played in 2 games, but even still, someone to keep an eye on because I do remember seeing him and Mel Kiper's talking about he's a top 10 draft prospect. So we'll see. Yep.
One guy who, depending on his eligibility, also might go back in that kind of 4th, 5th round pace, sticking in the ACC, 6'3", 250. I'm going Louisville's Clev Lubin. Where did I go? Hold on. There we go. StreamYard hates me for some reason. Clev Lubin has 7 sacks this year through 10 games. He had 10 last year. It says he's a redshirt junior, so he might go back. But I actually like what I'm seeing out of this kid.
Yeah, I'll be honest. You're getting nothing out of me on this one. Do not have a report on this guy. This is all you.
Touche. This is probably someone like 17 sacks in 2 seasons at Louisville. I will gladly take. If we grabbed him, he's got good size, good speed. Draft Buzz doesn't have anything on him, so we'll wait and see. But if he goes back, I could see him making a nice little impact for Louisville next season. But one last guy, you might know who I'm talking about. Everyone in their mama on BIB knows. I've been saying his name for 2.5 weeks. No, 2.5 months. Out of, I want to say it's now I think they're in the Big 12, if not the Big 10. 6'4", 255 would be a very Kerrigan-esque player. I'm talking about John Henry Daley.
Why do you say he's Kerrigan-esque?
Just really good, really good intangibles, like smaller school, 6'4", 255, 10 sacks on the season. Like, I don't know what else you could be alluded to, Grant.
Yeah, I don't know. This is always my favorite joke whenever we do, not us, but like just in general, whenever anyone does player comps and you get to a wide receiver. I think I've told you this joke before, but this is my favorite form of racism is when you compare a white wide receiver. It's got to be a white wide receiver that you're comparing him to. So the Kerrigan.
Look at McCaffrey, Wes Welker.
Yeah. I think Ladin McConkey, Steve
Edelman. Steve Largent, yeah. Yeah. I don't think, are there any white wide receivers this season coming out of the draft? I don't think so, actually.
I'm sure if we could scroll through the pages, we could find someone.
I'm sure I might be here for a minute just finding that. But no, I've been a fan of Henry Daley's for the past month or so, doing some of these scouting reports. Like I said, 6'4", 255. He has come a long way. 2023, he played in 3 games, no sacks. Last year for Utah, 6 games, 1 sack. This year, he has a sack every game.
Okay.
Outside the tackles, decent in the run game. He has some ability to get better. But I mean, almost a 24% pass rush win rate, 10 sacks, 9 QB hits, 26 QB hurries. Nothing but just good size, good speed. He's listed right now in that really late day 2, past the 200s, maybe into the 250s. If we got him with whatever picks we have left towards the end, I would like if at 220, I grab him. I'm going home run pick.
I'll give you my last guy, who's the guy I don't even know if he's going to be in the draft or not. Could easily, probably, honestly, makes sense for him to go back to college because his stock, it seems like his stock could improve a lot to the point he could be a day 1, early day 2 pick. I'll go Yhonzae Pierre from Alabama. So he is only a sophomore. He really just kind of burst onto the scene. He had 3 sacks against Tennessee, 2 sacks and a forced fumble against LSU. He's got super speed, really nice bend. He seems to have very long arms. Like, it seems like he's just one of those guys where, I mean, prime Bobby Wagner was like this, where it's like everything is in his range. It doesn't matter if they're on the far sideline, if they're in the middle of the field, it's like his hand is on them. And in the games that I've seen from Bama, I've seen probably 4 or 5 Bama games this year. And I saw the LSU game and I saw the Tennessee game, and he broke the charts. 5 sacks and a forced fumble in those 2 games is ridiculous. That's not something you're going to forget. So I don't know if I'm falling victim to some, I guess, an element of like sample size bias there, but he looks really good and should probably only get better. Because again, he is a sophomore, so he's still very early on in his playing career.
That wasn't even a name I was looking at whatsoever. But like you said, if he's a sophomore, then this would make sense of him going back to school, getting another 2 years, maybe even 3 years in the rotation. But I think this is going to be one of the better edge classes right now. And we'll have to wait and see who comes out. But I think we're both in the same boat of you have to take defense with that first overall draft pick. We've got a bunch of guys who we should take.
In my opinion, there should not be more than 1 offensive player we draft. And not that we don't need it. Like, don't misconstrue what I'm saying. I guess 2 max. If we're picking up a tight end in the 7th round, okay, whatever. But the defense, like, if we're going to list all the holes on this roster, there's a hole at tight end, receiver, running back, defensive end, maybe defensive tackle, honestly, linebacker, safety, and corner. Like, there's holes everywhere. However,
it's the whole defense.
It's the entire defense as a whole. There's no piece of it that's like present. Guys who I am 1,000,000% comfortable with starting next year: Javon Kinlaw, Trey Amos. That's the end of the list. So
the end of the list.
we should be investing a lot of assets onto that defense.
I'll throw Will Harris in there. I think he did decent things before he got injured.
He played 2 games. He did. He also got the. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on this channel. Yeah, he also got the. Wait, what do you say?
I say go ahead.
All right. He also got the shit knocked out of him by someone. Might have been Josh Jacobs. Someone in the Packers just railroaded him at the goal line early on in that game. So, yeah, Will Harris. Will Harris is becoming Noah Brown for me in a certain way, where everyone's like, "Oh, just wait till we get Will Harris back there." I'm like, okay, I think he's good, but is he actually making that big of a difference? So I don't know.
I think Will Harris was like the biggest or one of the bigger communicators on that defense in a really bad defense. So when he went down, the whole secondary went, wait, who's the leader?
It's definitely possible. Like, Will Harris, I was not mad at him when he was playing, and I've been mad at pretty much everyone on the defense. So I guess that's a tip of the cap to him. He's supposed to be coming back, so I guess we'll see. If he finishes the year playing well, then I can look back at it more comfortably. But having only seen him play 2 games and we got killed in the Packers game, that's just not enough where I'm like, yeah, Will Harris is the difference.
I'm with you on that one. This position, edge rusher, this will be the difference in a bunch of games. But Grant, appreciate you coming on and helping kick off BIB Draft HQ.
100%. Had a blast.
All right. Well, we got a lot more positions to cover. You will see a lot more of me on the screen. I might have to bring back Grant for another position because Lord knows we need help like he listens. Every defensive position, it's wide receiver, it's running back, it's tight end. I got a bunch more scouting to do. We'll just have to wait and see. So once this drops, BIB Draft HQ officially underway. But guys, hit that subscribe button here on BIB. Like I said, road to 1,000 subscribers. Road to 1,000. Hit that subscribe button. Follow us on social media. We're finally on the tail end of the bye week, and somehow we're also losing the bye week. Don't know how that's possible, but it's Commanders. We're 3-8. It's a bad time. That's why we're starting things early at this rate and not in January, because we'll be sitting on these couches come January. It's a bad day for us.
Yeah, we It's gonna be a lot different than getting ready for the championship game.
Yeah, the only championship I can't even get ready for my fantasy championship league because I'm like 5-6 in every league. It's awful right now.
Dude, I'm 5-6 in one of mine too. And this is the first time in my life I've had the first pick of the draft. And I took Jamar Chase because you had to, and it's just wrong year.
Jefferson, Jettas, Saquon, even Amon-Ra, like you look back at like you should have taken him. No, I should have taken Jonathan Taylor.
Exactly.
But with that being said, guys, race held during the season, race held during the bye week. We're gonna have a lot more draft prospects to go over. With that being said, we'll see y'all out there. Don't forget to stay ballin'. We out.